Good morning, friends! Now that you have collected information on your topics, it's time to start putting your argumentative essays together. Argumentative essays are organized so that the writer's message is clear and the writing maintains a formal style. Today, we're going to learn the goal of the introduction. We're going to listen to 3 different leads or introductions, and we're going to write 3 different leads and choose the one that we think suits our argument the best. Then you can start your rough drafts. But first, the lesson. Writers of argumentative essays write interesting leads to introduce their topics and support their claims with a clear thesis statement about their introductions. There are 3 goals to the introduction. 1. Engage your readers. 2. Explain the issue. And 3. Establish your viewpoint. There are many ways to engage readers. This can be done with an unusual detail, a relevant quote, an interesting fact, a strong statement, or a question. Let's look at Voices from the Fields. This book gives a voice to the children of migrant farm workers, our country's most exploited and deprived group of people. The poems and first-person narratives of Hispanic migrant children presented here speak with the voices of today's Hispanic migrant children, as well as the collective voice of migrant children from many years past, including my own. Reading these testimonies and viewing the photographs that accompany them brought back many memories of my own childhood growing up in a family of migrant workers. From the time I was 4 until I was 16. I found myself reliving and sharing with these children many of the same feelings, thoughts, and reactions to the realities of migrant life. Tragically, our society has lacked the compassion and the will to eliminate some of these realities, which are as harsh and oppressive for the migrant children of today as they were for me 30 years ago. So what ways did you hear the author engage her audience in this introduction? I definitely heard an unusual fact, that she herself was a migrant worker. Did you hear any strong statements? I did. I heard her talking about how she connected with the children that she interviewed for this story, and I think that is a strong statement. Let's now look at Father Water, Mother Woods. There came a time in the almost exact center of the summer when, as impossible as it was to believe, fishing paled. Not permanently, not even long enough to measure. Sounds like an interesting fact to me. Let's go down to the 9th Street Bridge and catch some rock bass, somebody suggests, and everybody shakes his head. We did that yesterday. We could go out for frogs. There are bullfrogs just thick out by Peterson Slough. We've got all the frogs we need. Well then, what? A pause, a breath, because this cannot be wasted. This time, this only time when the sun is still there and the sky is still there and the soft days and softer nights are still there. And if there is no fishing, and it is still too fine and wonderful to stay inside, to stay in town, well then what? In this lead, I definitely hear the question, what to do? So, what will they do with their summer at this point? We're going to now think about the story or the argumentative essay idea about extending the school year. We talked a little bit about the pros and cons of this on Friday, so let's now consider this subject as a argumentative essay in which we need to hook our readers. Readers need to know what the issue is about. They are first hooked by the opening statement, which clues them in on the thesis statement and the author's strong opinion. It can be anecdotal in nature. It can state both viewpoints. and it can clearly state the writer's opinion. Remember, the thesis statement should be a debatable opinion that clearly explains your stance on the issue. In this essay, the thesis statement is, however, extending the school year into the summer will have more negative than positive effects on the school district and the education of students. Let's listen. By the time the average student finishes 8th grade, he or she will have attended approximately 1,550 days of school. That's a tremendous amount of schooling. Do you hear those facts? According to the United States Education Department, while more than half of the states in our country operate their schools on a 180-day schedule, some districts are experimenting with an extended school year that will add approximately 20 days of instruction in the summer. The belief is that this will improve the education of their students. However, extending the school year into summer will have more negative than positive effects on the school district and the education of students. So what is this author's thesis? What do you hear the author stating very clearly as their opinion? Let's look back. There are 3 different types of leads on this paper: an interesting or unusual fact, a quote, and a question. It sounds to me like they went with the interesting or unusual fact for this particular essay. For your essay, you are now going to write those 3 different types of leads. So, take a few minutes to write down in your writer's notebook which lead from all of these examples, the 3 stories we've read, the extending the school year, Father Water, Mother Woods, and the first one, which was Voices from the Fields, which one of those leads did you like the best? Then you're going to say why you thought that lead was powerful. And during Writer's Workshop today, you are going to use the goals of the introduction, so this one right here, and the extended school year leads, that one right there, right, to help you as you try out 3 different leads that will hook your audience and introduce your claim. When you have finished creating your 3 different types of leads and you decide which one you like the best, then you can continue working on your rough draft.